We have a laziness problem in our society right now. We don't think that effort is worth it anymore. We see people everywhere who take the path of least resistance. We don't cook our own food anymore. There's like boxes you can get delivered. There's services for everything. We basically outsource all the work that we need to do. We look for the quick fixes. We consume way too much caffeine and way too much alcohol in order to soothe our nerves, and we somehow wonder why we're not feeling fulfilled, but we're feeling so anxious, why the rates of people having to go into therapy and feeling depressed and feeling like life is meaningless, why they are rising so much. And somehow people just don't see the connection between the increase in comfort in our society and the increase in mental health issues, and they're not connecting the dots. Basically, I'm not saying that this is the whole entire reason why we feel the way we feel, but it is an essential factor in the state of our society. Why? Because our brain was not built to live in a society as comfortable as it is right now. Basically, we can get help for anything and everything if we ask for it. And what our brains do, unfortunately, is they love to take the path of least resistance. Your brain, if it is offered a hard version and an easy version, it will naturally always go for the easy version. So, example, you come home, it has been a stressful day of work, and you were on the bus and there was someone who was very annoying, there was a child crying, you're overstimulated, you enter the door, you open your fridge. There are two options. There's a cucumber, some greens lying there, some beef, but you would have to cook that first. And then on the right side, there's a Ben & Jerry's jar. Which one are you going to reach for? Most people are going to go with the Ben & Jerry's jar. There's nothing wrong with that necessarily. But what happens if you pick this easy choice, if you pick this jar of bliss, basically, is this. You basically flood your brain with dopamine, because there are two types of dopamine. Hard dopamine and easy dopamine, I call them. So the easy dopamine is in that Ben & Jerry's jar. And it's also in the, oh, I'm going to take the scooter to work instead of walking. Oh, I'm going to go for an easy Netflix evening instead of going to the gym. In these easy fixes, they give us a lot of dopamine. So basically, when you eat ice cream, for example, after you come home, your brain gets a big and fast dopamine spike. And this comes from the sugar that is in there, it comes from the fat that's in there, it comes from the novelty of the taste. It is instant reward, and it immediately makes you feel good. But what happens soon afterwards is that spike crashes. And what happens over time, if you go for that Ben & Jerry's jar, like not just this afternoon, but also the day after and then the day afterward, is this. Over time, your brain adapts to this level of dopamine. And the Ben & Jerry's jar won't feel as exciting anymore. You need something more. You need maybe whatever, a second one. It won't feel as rewarding. And the more often you do it, the smaller the spike gets, and you need more for the same feeling. So this is basically an addiction cycle. Everything else feels boring, and your motivation to do the difficult thing, which would be to cook dinner, becomes lower and lower. And this is how you basically ride yourself into a vicious cycle. And this is a vicious cycle that a lot of us are stuck in. We always go for the easy version. Good news is there's also a different type of dopamine. This is what I call the hard dopamine, or what science calls phasic dopamine. So let's use, as an example, going for a run, because I think this is one of the most uncomfortable things that you can do. Let's say it's horrible weather, it's very cold outside, you just came home, and you know you want to get a run in, but you really don't feel like it because you had a horrible day. Maybe you had a bad night of sleep as well. What happens if you choose to go on the run anyway? It's this. In the beginning, it will feel horrible. We all know this. We start running and your shoes don't feel right, and it's itchy, and it's cold, and it's uncomfortable. But after a while, this feeling of effort and this feeling of, okay, well, I'm out here now, so I might as well, continue my run. This adversity that you start to feel in the beginning, it turns into motivation, because this is how dopamine works. It rewards you for doing hard things. And it's not this instant dopamine hit that we get from the Ben & Jerry's, but rather it comes slowly through effort. It rewards you for doing the difficult thing. And it can be shown in the brain that the dopamine release that you get from this running is way more consistent and long lasting and doesn't send you into such a horrible dopamine crash. So basically what happens is you run and your motivation increases and it increases and it increases. Eventually you get a runner's high and you come home and you feel proud of yourself. And that feeling doesn't go away. It will last the whole day, and it will also continue to influence the decisions that you make throughout the rest of the day, because this doesn't this doesn't increase your baseline of dopamine. This doesn't get you used to a very high level of dopamine. No. Instead, it will basically lower the baseline, make you more motivated to do other difficult things. So for example, sit down on the desk, do the next thing, do the next task. So this sends you into a positive loop. And it all starts with this first decision, basically. And that is huge. This realization is huge. Most of the times in life, you have a decision to make. There's an easy route and there's a hard route. And what we do and what our brains tend to do is we usually take the easy route. But what I'm telling you is what will make you happier and will make you proud of yourself and will make you confident at the end of the day is not going for the easy route, even if you have the choice to do so, but going for the hard route over and over and again. And it's like a muscle you train. After a while, your baseline level of dopamine becomes very low and you become motivated to do all sorts of difficult things, which will then give you longer lasting dopamine, longer lasting good mood, and will eventually help you reach your goals. There's different things we learn from these situations. So we reach for the Ben & Jerry's jar, we learn or we teach our brain, good things are easy. I can get this dopamine hit easily. Reward is instant. I snap with my finger and I get the feeling that I want to feel. It doesn't take 20 minutes into the run until I finally start to feel kind of good, But what the running teaches is good things come from effort. Good things come from investing time into your goals, investing effort, and enduring adversity in the beginning. So your brain is basically constantly updating its model of reality depending on what input you give it, depending on what you teach it. And you teach your brain by deciding on doing things or not doing things. So it's based on what you do. It's based on the decisions you make. When you choose the harder option, you're not just being disciplined, okay? Yeah, that's a part of it, but you're actually reprogramming your dopamine system. And you're teaching your brain, effort predicts reward. If I do something hard, I will get rewarded. And discomfort isn't dangerous. And I'm capable of doing hard things. This is what a lot of us have completely unlearned in our society. We're stuck in a cycle of learned helplessness where we perceive ourselves to be victims, unable to do hard things that we would actually be able to do. There's one mindset shift that you really have to make. It's this. Learn to love effort and learn to not be scared of effort. As soon as your brain starts to associate doing hard things with something good, with something positive coming out of it, you're basically on the best way to become the best version of yourself. But this is what you first have to do. So yeah, once you flip that, everything changes. I hope you guys could take something from this video, and I see you guys in the next video. Bye.